right, hey folks, we're going to do some game design. So give me a second here. I want to check on my signal, make sure that we're coming through okay, and then we're going to get to work here for a little bit. So give me let me see. Let me check to see if I'm coming through, if my volume is fine. It should be, but I don't want to make any assumptions.
Fine.
So
It should be,
check. I don't want to make any assumptions.
Fine.
So
It should be,
yeah, that sounds pretty good. All right, we'll leave it at that. We're working on the Bastion campaign supplement. It's the next thing that we're going to be publishing once the Eberron adventure that I've been doing artwork for in the morning is completed. We've been working on the color mana system for quite some time, and we're still playtesting that. So I think it's time for us to take a little bit of a breather on the color mana and just let it simmer for a little bit and continue just to let that go. We've been playtesting that on my Discord, which is linked down below. But specifically, the Bastion campaign, I think, serves a greater good, and my council of allies has suggested that I make that my next book that I publish, because it has, since its core to Dungeons and Dragons 2024, having a supplement that expands on the utility and narrative elements of the Bastion system that's in the DMG would serve the greatest good. So I can't really fight that funk, and I love the Dominion style of play. So having making that a priority is I'm happy to follow. I'm happy to follow that advice. So for those that don't know, my name is Phil Kearney. Hey, what's up? I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and then I publish them online. And I've been focusing my attentions on Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. I enjoy the 2024 mechanics. I've been a DM since 1987. I've been a freelance illustrator since 1999, and I've been creating content on the DMsGuild since 2018. The first books that I made was the color mana system, replacing Vancian magic and spell slots with the color magic system for Magic the Gathering, and using color mana to cast spells. And we've been expanding that with the martial power system, which is basically revamping the Book of Nine Swords from 3rd edition to use the mana system so that all 14 character classes, including the Scion, has the same mana system as their core resource mechanic in their character. But we've been grinding that for months. It's been 3 months since we picked up the Bastion campaign, but I've been using it in my own home campaign in a Spelljammer Eberron campaign that I run with when I run every week. So I want to continue developing that document and move it towards publishing and production. I'm expecting the Eberron adventure to conclude somewhere between September and November, and then that clears my plate. I would like to have the text ready, edited and ready to go for when the Eberron adventure finishes, so that my Monday through Friday mornings artwork can then be dedicated to constructing art and formatting for the Bastion campaign. So without any further ado, it's I've probably dragged on for too long already, but for those that think this stuff is cool, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notification of when we're live in the future. Here's a bunch of other books that I've already created that are on the DMsGuild. They all have 100% free preview, so check them out. The Bastion campaign will also have 100% free preview when we get into it. So be welcome to check all that stuff out. And and then the playtest document that we're using, it's going to be a read-only document for you guys. This is not the final draft. We're still working on it. Obviously, we're going to hire an editor to do all the text cleanup, and there's obviously no formatting or images. So this isn't the end product. It's also read-only because the DMsGuild, as part of contract signing stuff, is you can't provide the content on any other website, or you can't provide it for free, anything like that. So this isn't the final product. This is just a bunch of ideas that are being assembled. We're going to work on the connective tissue and language of the document to make it read like an actual supplement before we hire an editor and do the cleanup. And then once the cleanup is done, we'll do page layouts. When the page layouts are resolved, all the gaps in the pages where there's blank spots, we'll have illustrations of bastions, hirelings, and events and stuff happening inside of the game. But it's been a while since I've shared the document, so anyone is welcome to tag along as you please. And let's see, let me set this down. I don't know how long I'm going to stream tonight because I have I want to continue working on off-screen content for the Eberron adventure that I've been producing, boring stuff that you guys don't want to watch. But I want to keep moving the ball forward, so I'll probably stream this for a little while and then cut. I'll be back tomorrow morning to continue with artwork in the Eberron adventure, and then we'll just continue on with our week. Monday through Friday, I do artwork in the morning. Mondays, Thursday nights, Tuesday and Friday lunches, I do game design, and right now we're focusing on the Bastion campaign. So what is a Bastion campaign? The Dungeons & Dragons DMG, Dungeon Master's Guide 2024, introduced the idea of Bastions, which is a 5e narrative incarnation of Dominion, or developing a settlement and terrain, gaining basically a domain for your characters to oversee. This used to be a core component of the old Dungeons & Dragons BECMI system, where when your characters got to 9th level, you would gain followers and like a fortress or a wizard's tower or like a temple, and then you would have hirelings or NPCs that would start following you. In 2nd edition, this continued to evolve. I would say the Oriental Adventures book really leaned into it heavy, because you could get followers as early as 4th level in 2nd edition using Oriental Adventures. And then in 3rd edition, they converted it to followers. It was a feat called leadership, where you would have a henchman, which is basically an NPC 2 levels lower than yourself. And then you'd have a ton of hirelings, like literally hundreds. And as you, if you had the Stronghold Builder's Guide, you could construct strongholds and temples and stuff like that, and then use those. The original BECMI system, it was kind of like you'd build a fortress on the frontier, and then you would hex crawl out from your fortress to start claiming land, learning what kind of monsters and potential rivals are out there, or you would create a fortress near an enemy nation, and then you could potentially have conflicts with that nation. So we're incorporating those ideas into the idea of what a bastion is in the DMG, while reintegrating those elements of warfare and leadership, and using the structure of a bastion to create adventure plot hooks. A bastion churn is every week. Basically every 7 days, you'd have a bastion turn where your characters could issue orders to your hirelings inside the bastion to craft stuff, research things, establish trade routes with people, harvest materials like from a mine or like from gardens or fields. Just all this NPC type stuff that can culminate into additional information, magic items, and gear for your characters to become more efficient at adventuring. But the way that the DMG is structured is that you basically get a set of benefits based on the facilities that are inside your bastion, and there's no real challenge or complications or chance of failure with it. It was just something that you just simply got because you have a bastion. And ultimately, with a DMG, it ends up just creating a whole bunch of extra gold for you, or extra magic items that the DM didn't necessarily expect. So if you've got loot in dungeons and adventures and stuff that are giving you magic items, your characters are creating magic items on the side for themselves. So in a way, this Bastion system is kind of doubling down on the amount of magic items you get. If you're letting your characters create their own magic items through their Bastion facilities, it's kind of eliminating the need for the DM to give out magic items during adventures, because if your characters want a magic item, they can just create it themselves. So we wanted to add some additional depth of mechanics so that if your characters wanted to make like a staff of the Magi or something, then they would need to go on adventures to collect materials and find the formula that would allow them to create that item so they can take it back and then start building it. So instead of going on a quest to get magic items or just randomly getting magic items through questing, you can now hand out rewards of components and formula for them to create their own magic items as they need. So that's a reframing. And then beyond that, there's ability checks that we have woven into it. So the more difficult the item it is that you're trying to make, or the more exotic material it is that you're attempting to harvest, it becomes more. You have to roll an ability check, a Bastion check, to determine if you can hit the DC needed for the item that you want. And if you succeed the die roll, you make the thing, or you harvest the material, or you do what you want to do, opening up new avenues for you. Like, you needed this thing for a reason, so now you have the thing go do the reason. But if you fail, a complication arises that's preventing your hirelings from completing the task in the Bastion. So that then becomes an adventure seed that you could use. Like, if you're attempting to build a Staff of the Magi and you have a mishap with creating the magic item, maybe there was an impurity in the gem that you were trying to mount into the staff, so now your team needs to locate a 7,000 gold piece gem to use in the Staff of the Magi. Okay, great. Well, where can we get one of those? Well, that can be a research check to find what kind of resources, like what kind of operations that you know of would be able to provide you a suitably high quality gem that you could then use, and how would you go about getting it? That itself can become a research check through your Bastion to find those resources. And then you make an adventure out of it. Like, it's in this mine, but that mine's been overran by Balrog for years. So now you're going to have to delve deep into this mine of Moria to find gems of that quality to bring back to be carved into the stone that you need for your magic item. So that becomes a quest for you to go fight Balrog down in the mines of Moria, so that you can fetch the gem that you need to build the staff, like, for example. So all the different facilities that you have can be used to create different things or give you different benefits. And each of them comes with ability checks or Bastion checks that you'll make to see if your Bastion succeeds at the task or not. Hey, Steve. And so that creates this cascade of, as you gain higher levels, you get more facilities, the bonuses, your die rolls become higher, so you're able to perform more and more impossible tasks through your Bastion, which sets up more and more insane plot hooks that you need to prevent, to resolve the complication that's preventing you from succeeding at the task. So it's been a little while since I've actually thumbed through this document directly. So I'm going to just take a little bit of time here just to reintroduce the document, and we'll be building towards, like, is this structured properly? Does it have a logical flow of information from describing what a Bastion is, the mechanics that go with it, the facilities, and then all the things you can do through the facilities, and then item creation processes. Like, that's kind of how I imagine this thing flowing. But I want to review all this stuff and then start taking a casual approach to actually, like, typing out the text that would go into actually constructing this as a book. And once we get to a place where it's a decent book, then we can hand it off to an editor to chew on it and spit it back to us saying, you were completely wrong about this. This is how you should word that stuff. And then we'll follow that advice and make sure it reads properly. Then we'll do the page layouts, and then we'll do the artwork, and then we'll publish it like we were talking about. So I guess we're just gonna do a read through today. It's a 47-page document in whole, but a lot of it is listing. There's probably like about 30 pages worth of listings of, like, items and facilities and stuff like that. So it's not actually that dense. There's probably maybe like 15, 20 pages worth of actual rule content. And then from there, it's just implementing those rules to create options. So Bastion Campaigns by Phil Kearney. My Discord community is here. It's linked down below as well if you want to jump in and hang out and playtest with us. I typically do playtesting on Saturday mornings. We're running a mega dungeon for the Martial Power System right now, but we'll be doing a Spelljammer campaign for Mecha in the new year, and we'll be using both the Bastion mechanics as well as the Fightercraft spelljamming mechanics I developed last year to build out Storm King's Thunder to be an alternate Spelljammer campaign using older WotC adventure content. So Discord community is super cool. Additional playtest content and articles on my Patreon at Phil Kearney. Be welcome to support me there. Buy my books down below in the description. You can read them all before you decide if you want to. Big shout out to the folks that have been involved: Foxtrot, Francois, Nightmare, Steve. What's up, my guy? The Heroes Art, And as more people queue in and help with the playtesting, I'm sure we'll have additional feedback. Table of contents, introduction, what is a Bastion, blah, blah, blah. First section is the Bastion, ranks, resources, and value. The 7 orders and what do they do. Facilities that can carry out orders issued. Bastion events and complications. Franchises. We should probably go with we'll do that. We'll go armies, franchises, and settlements, and then items and equipment lists, and then last page is advertisements. Front page, cover. And we'll paint the book cover here on stream in the mornings like we do. And we'll do all the interior art. I think some of the art that I've been posting with this series, like this was from the Odyssey Anthology Adventures that was created by Core Artificer, Sticky Hunter, and about 20 some odd other creators like myself. I did artwork for all the different islands, and this is an example of a floating island that I don't remember exactly, but this was one of Darren Kinney's adventures. Basically, there was an Oracle's temple up here, Tathasa, that if you could ascend to the top, you could ask questions of the Oracle, kind of like a contact other plane or commune spell, but it was overran by spirits, so you had to exercise the facility for you to be able to clear it up to be able to use the Oracle. But I love the artwork from this. I love doing environment arts. This is such a fun project to do. But it also allowed me to create a bunch of little Bastion type environments that are suitable for Bastions. So that's where a lot of this artwork comes from. Here's other examples of book covers that I've made. You can check out in the link down below. All the links down below have cover art for all the stuff that I've done. So check that stuff out if you're interested. So what's the premise here? Campaigns can be built around the development of a Bastion under the command of characters. Let's see. I think we want to go with let's start introduction. I typically save the introduction to last, but I at least want to pencil something in, right? So let's pencil something in introductions. The 2024 Dungeon Master's Guide introduces the concept of bastions, which are structures or establish that the characters control, that the characters have command over, including NPC hirelings that operate the various facilities that can be installed throughout the Bastion. Operate the various facilities, issuing hirelings orders, issuing orders to hirelings. Orders to hirelings allow characters to gather information, craft equipment and magic items, or establish trade and or magic items, establish alliances with NPCs, alliances with NPC organizations and various settlements, organizations as downtime activities or while the characters are adventuring. This supplement adventuring period, however the way the DMG structures Bastions to provide benefits with no risks, with no risk of failure or opportunities. I don't want to word it that way. However, the DMG structures Bastions to be social bastions in structures Bastions in the social pillar of adventure, where operating facilities is a narrative experience for role-playing with predefined benefits and items the characters can gain. This supplement reframes Bastions as this one reframes Bastions in the exploration pillar, where issuing orders to hirelings require trigger ability checks to succeed or fail at the tasks, or fail to succeed or fail completing the orders. When an order fails, it creates an adventure hook the characters can take to. It creates an adventure hook. When an order fails, it creates an adventure hook the characters can take to overcome the complication preventing the hirelings from completing the order they have been issued. There, that's the general idea. And then I think I'm going to leave premise in place. There, that's an introduction. Bastions. Bastions are expanded. Okay, so let's see. A bastion is loosely defined as any structure, business, settlement, organization, guild, or company. Any structure, settlement, organization, guild, or company under the command of characters or NPCs in a campaign setting. Let's see. How do we want to do this? Let's see. I think I want to do a skeleton for the section. So let's see. Maybe we do it like acquiring a bastion. Expanding bastion, expanding a bastion. Resources, bastion points, acquiring a bastion, expanding a bastion, bastion points. Hirelings and issuing orders. Facilities. Let's see, creating adventure hooks. So the facility should probably come first, and then hirelings and issuing orders, and then creating adventure hooks. Let's see, armies. Franchises and settlements, creating adventure hooks, creating items and equipment. Yeah, this is probably punt this down to the next section. Bastions are expanded to be available at first level. A bastion is loosely defined as any structure, settlement, organization, guild, or company under the command of characters or NPCs in a campaign setting. A bastion can be acquired as early as first level. Bastion characters. Every business, army, guild, religion, community. Every business, army, guild, religion, community can all be framed, can all be described as bastions of one sort. Can be described as can all be described as and use the mechanics of bastions. Which can be acquired, which characters can purchase with gold gained through adventuring, be rewarded. Gold gained through adventuring, be rewarded. Can be granted as a reward for completing an adventure. Can be purchased with gold gained through adventure. Can be gained through which can be purchased with gold. Can be gained as a reward for completing a quest. Or can be granted, or can be the starting point of first level. Can be the starting point of a campaign for characters starting at first level, at level 1. Level 1 or higher. Starting as early as level 1. A bastion is loosely defined as any structure, settlement, organization, guild, or company under the command of a character or NPCs in a campaign setting. Every business, army, guild, religion, community can all be described. Any structure, settlement, organization, guild, or government, business, army, guild, religion, community can all be described as in use. Every business, blah, 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 can be described as and use the mechanics of bastions, which characters can purchase with gold gained through adventuring, can be granted as a reward for completing a quest, or can be the starting point of a campaign for characters, or can be the home base of a campaign for characters starting as early as level 1. Let's see. Let's see. Bastion points. Ranks. Let's go with Bastion ranks. Bastions are bastions can evolve. Bastions can grow in power. Bastions can expand capabilities and grow in power, similar to how characters gain levels. Instead of gaining experience points to level up, bastions expand by accumulating Bastion points, which can be expended to acquire new facilities, modify ability checks, and this can be expended to acquire new facilities, modify ability checks, and other options available to characters through the Bastion. Bastions are organized into 5 ranks corresponding to the proficiency, corresponding to characters gaining higher proficiency bonuses as they gain levels. This language is horrible right now. This is just initial thought stuff, so I don't expect it to be verbose, particularly fantastic or anything. It's just, this is the accumulation process. So let's see. Bastion ranks. Bastions can expend capabilities and grow in power similar to characters. Instead of gaining experience points to level up, Bastions expand by accumulating Bastion points, which can be expanded to acquire Bastion ranks. Here. Bastions can expand capabilities and grow in power similar to how characters gain level. Bastions are organized into 5 ranks, corresponding to characters gaining higher proficiency bonuses as they gain levels. Into 5 ranks, corresponding to levels, blah, blah, blah. First rank, Bastion. Bastion rank, and what would this be? Effective character level. One, 5, 9, 13, 17. Anyone that's been around my stuff, my supplements for any length of time will recognize how much I lean into the 5 rank or the proficiency tier system of 1 to 5, 1, 5, 9, 13, 17. It's present here in the Bastion campaign. It's present in the Spelljammer combat and exploration supplement that we have published down below. It's present in the martial power supplement that we've been producing on stream here as well. I am a big fan of the 5-tier progression system. It is a very easy way to naturally frame how your characters evolve over time. So I gotta fix my chair real quick. Hold on. Hey. To acquire new facilities, modify ability checks, and other options available to characters throughout the game. There we go. Good. Burp, burp, burp. Character level. Bastion rank. Bastion points. 1 to 9. 10 to 19. 11 to 29. Sorry. 11. Sorry, 20 to 29, thank you. 30 to 39, 40 plus. Let's see, 5 ranks, Bastions can recover a number of orders. So we probably want to put issuing orders elsewhere. Bastion points, facilities, Bastion facilities. We'll probably want to take this down. Here to orders. Blah, blah, blah. So maybe, chicken and egg moment. Do we detail facilities first, which grant the ability to issue orders and provide bonuses, or do we describe what orders and benefits of Bastion points are that are gained through facilities? Like, this is how you use Bastion points and issue orders. Here's the facilities that you can do that stuff through, or here's all the facilities that you can have in your Bastion with what they each can do, and then later we'll detail what exactly those things are. I guess the question we should then ask is, how does the DMG organize it? That's not the right button. Let's go to D&D Beyond. Bastion. Bastions. Let's see how they organize Bastions in the DMG. Maybe that will tell us how we're supposed to organize Bastions. That seems like the most straightforward way to do things, right? Just duplicate. That's what we're doing with Martial Powers book. We're duplicating the spellcasting section with channeling powers so that it's easily referenced and follows the structure. So I guess that's just the smart way to do it. So okay, let's do that. I guess we're gonna go back up to the top of the book here, and we're going to reorganize it. So let's get cracking. Bastions intro. Gaining a Bastion. Bastion turns. Bastion map. Facilities. Orders. Facility. So it's technically orders are first. We have adding facilities, and then we have special facilities and issuing the orders. Space hirelings orders. Facilities. Space. Hirelings. Order. Bastion turns. Frequency. Turns. Structuring a campaign. Bastion maps is broken down into facility space. And we have the facilities themselves. Adding facilities. And then we actually have, let's see, Bastion map, facility space. I don't feel like that's necessary. I want to de-emphasize maps. Okay. There, Bastion map. We'll put Bastion map when we're gaining a Bastion. Bastion turns. Facilities. Facility list. Facility descriptions. Bastion events. Complications. Downtime activities, hirelings, orders, facility descriptions, chunk, 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 chunk. Garden types, sample guilds, menagerie, training area, Bastion events, let's see, Bastion facility. Through okay, let's see, basic orders, unique orders, unique orders, basic facility benefits, facility benefits, downtime activities, issuing orders. basic, unique, basic, unique, and then benefits, downtime activity, do we ever refer to something other than basic downtime activity? We have downtime activities. Downtime activity. I don't think we have basic downtime. Yeah, we only have downtime activities, not basic downtime activities. So let me fix that. Where'd it go? Basic orders, unique orders, basic facility benefits. Basic unique, downtime activities, issue an order, basic unique, and variants. Yeah, we can skip that. That doesn't need to be its own category. And then cut that. Go back up to our growing TOC. Let's see. There we go. Using facilities, which is broken down into basic facility benefits, unique, facility descriptions, using facilities, that's appropriate. Bastions, gaining a bastion, bastion turns, facilities, gaining a bastion, bastion maps, bastion rank, bastion points, commanding a bastion, facility, using facilities, bastion turns, let's go with armies and settlements. How about the variant? Variant bastions, which include armies. The easiest one to start with is franchises, which is seeding bastions. You can use bastion points to purchase additional bastions. And then the bastion that your character controls, you get so many, you have so many orders that you can issue to a bastion each bastion turn, but you can order your bastion to govern other bastions. So you can have a hub bastion that acts as a parent company, and then you can have all of its orders be used to issue additional orders to other bastions. And these subsidiary bastions are franchises. There's settlements. Settlements are a type of franchise as well, where the bastion itself is the governing body of the settlement. And within the settlement, there's both facilities and subsidiary bastions that are either under the control of or aligned with the governing bastion. So this is a way to be able to organize your campaign world into cascading bastions, where like the Emperor of the known universe is the character that's in command of the government that oversees the universe. And then that government seat could be used to then seed out like the Harkonnens and the Atreides and Ix and Arrakis. But Arrakis got subsumed, so now Arrakis becomes a subsidiary of Harkonnen. But then when the Emperor redefines, Arrakis is no longer a subsidiary of Harkonnen, so it withdraws all the bastion points associated with Arrakis and gives it to Atreides. Now Arrakis becomes a subsidiary bastion inside of the Atreides umbrella, which is part of the council of nobles that make up the government of the known universe that the Emperor is in charge of. So you have this cascading hierarchy, and then like say on Arrakis, there's the Fremen, the southern and northern poles, and there's the spice operations. So the Fremen and the spice operations are probably like the two major organizations that exist on Arrakis directly. And so the Fremen could be a Fremen body as a whole, but then each clave, I don't remember the name for their sects, but like a clave, like a Fremen's clave, is its own bastion that's within the Fremen collective. Now the Fremen collective might not be a unified government. Each clave of Fremen could be their own standalone bastion that have alliances and trade between different claves. And some of these claves could have ties and trade with the actual spice mining organization, while other claves could be enemies of the spice mining corporation, but not necessarily enemies with other Fremen claves. So you can have these different dynamic relationships that can be used to help gain advantages depending on what kind of adventuring that you're doing. If you want to be a Fremen house that's working with the Atreides when they take over, then they could be, used as stewards and help train the collectives to gather spice without necessarily damaging anything. Or you could decide to be in a Fremen clave that's actively at war with the spice mining corporation, in which case all of your bastion activities would be warfare against the harvesting operations. So the harvesting operations could be facilities and orders that are being issued through the company to the spice operation. There's a refinery that's within the city complex. There's also the security detail, which is a separate order. So you've got harvesting spice, you've got processing spice, you've got selling spice off to the Chom Corporation, and then you have defending your facilities from Fremen attack. Like, those are 4 basic orders, and then there's maintaining a lifestyle for everybody that's working within the spice operations so that you can just live. So like, those are 5 standard orders that you could be issuing as a spice mining organization that you could be issuing to your different resources, facilities, and hirelings within your bastion. But that's just one piece of Atreides. Atreides also has their standing army, which is being used mostly for defense of their harvesting operation, but they're also attempting to create an alliance with the Fremen at the same time. So when that gets rooted out and the Harkonnens came in and took back control, that punts Atreides out of the Chom Corporation and now has them become a subsidiary of one clave inside of the Fremens. And as Atreides gains power and Paul becomes Muad'Dib, he then becomes a character that's in control of that clave and starts uniting all the different Fremen claves together as a single unit. So he's gaining this government status inside of that organization, and all these other claves are becoming cascading franchises inside of the Paul Muad'Dib religion. So the religion is controlling everything, but then they have management of like the southern hemisphere and the northern hemisphere, which is then split into like maybe 6 different claves, and each clave might have like 7 different water caches that each oversees. So there's this cascading hierarchy of organizing and controlling more and more organizations. And once you get down to the actual production level of like still suit production, water storage, defense and reconnaissance and spying, and then sabotage. Like these are the different orders that are typically could typically be issued to each Fremen clave against House Harkonnen under Paul Muad'Dib's direction. So that's some of the basic idea of like how franchises work. And then you've got armies, which are structured the same way. Armies are basically structured the same as bastions, but they're mobile. They don't have a fixed location. Bastions can a bastion and a franchise could be a physical location, like a pub, but it could also be something like a merchant fleet that's going from city to city. And then you've got settlements, and settlements are bastions that are not mobile. So armies are mobile bastions, settlements are stationary bastions, and franchises and an actual bastion is just the framework of organization in your campaign world, cascading down through different organizations. So a franchise is like a business, guild, or organization that's taking orders from a higher ranked bastion. And an army is a bastion that operates underneath the governance of a higher ranked bastion, or your characters just command an army like a horde of barbarians that are just roaming the environment, like Talenta halflings in Eberron. While their tribe could be framed as a bastion, it's mobile. So it's actually an army of dinosaur riding halflings that just stop to graze and gather resources from whatever hex location they're in on the map before moving on to the next hex over the next day or week. So your nomadic tribe as a bastion is both acting as an army as well as like as a more formal bastion, where when you root and you set up your facilities, now you can do harvest work, like you can do leather working or pottery or scribing, the things that you need to do when you're not actively roaming on horseback, or in this case dinosaur back. While you're roaming on dinosaur back, you have all of your facilities packed up and you're acting as an army in motion. Once you settle for the night, you unpack and you set camp. Now you have facilities available to your characters again. Settlements are always stationary. And while the settlement itself acts as a facility within the government, the government itself is actually the core bastion that oversees the settlement. But the bastion, if it's a monarchy, oligarchy, theocracy, where the government literally owns everything within the settlement, it's all just a direct top-down hierarchy structure where everything is being commanded by something above it. But in an open society or like a capitalist framework, then you can have in your settlement, you'll have facilities that are owned by the governing bastion, but it can open up opportunities for foreign bastions to establish facilities within the settlement as well. So I could have, like in Waterdeep, for instance, all the guard houses, the docks, all the infrastructure, the windmills, the water canals, the close fields. Those could all be directly owned and operated by Waterdeep, by the Council of Waterdeep as facilities in the Bastion. But Waterdeep is so huge, like in the Market District, there could be like 50 inns that are individually owned that pay taxes to Waterdeep to be present in that settlement, but operate as their own bastion. As in, it's up to themselves whether they succeed or fail. And the Waterdeep just collects taxes from them as a means of them basically paying rent for being there. So if this particular, like if lot 137 that has the Crone's Oak in it, which is like a pub inn where you can crash for the night. If it goes bankrupt or burns down, Real Estate Space 139 now opens up, and a different facility could purchase that lot and start paying taxes in the form of a lifestyle payment to remain present there as they grow and attempt to produce profit and blah blah blah. But if it was a theocratic or more top-down structure like a monarchy or something that doesn't have a guild presence, that literally the leader of that settlement owns everything, then if that pub starts to fail, that's technically the problem of the government that's overseeing it. And thus, if your characters are in command of that settlement, it becomes their direct problem. Hey, like we have 3 pubs that are failing right now. What are you going to do about it? In an open system where these could be independent bastions without direct fealty to the governing bastion, it could just, well, they either survive or they don't. But if you own them, they're directly under your own franchising, it becomes your responsibility to figure out why are our pubs and inns failing around town, what's going wrong, and that becomes a seed of adventure for you to figure out. You could make it a quest to find out why local pubs are failing in your town, but that wouldn't necessarily be issued by the governing bastion. It could be a quest that's offered by a collective guild of like a loose partnership or alliance of different pubs, like the Stein Guild that fills steins of beer. Right, we're all having issues with our liquor right now for whatever reason. We're being targeted by arsons. Maybe it's a Thieves Guild shakedown, and a Thieves Guild would be a separate bastion inside the settlement that isn't paying taxes, that doesn't have fealty to anyone but themselves, and are now exploiting, stealing, or extorting resources from other bastions, potentially stealing from the government and all the individual bastions that are inside of that settlement. Or they could be doing like a protection racket. We'll minimize our cost to you, but as long as everyone's paying us a little bit, everyone's fine. We don't have to make an example out of anybody, but if anyone refuses us, we're going to burn down their store to demonstrate how important it is for you to give us a bastion point. You've got 25 bastion points, give me 2 of them, and you'll never hear from us again. Just make sure those 2 points stay dedicated to us. So the bastion points that you have you just carve off 2 bastion points. So there's just, I was going to expand my library, but now I'm being shook down by the local mafia. So instead of building that library, I'm now devoting those 2 bastion points as a shadow tax that I'm giving to the mafia, so that they don't attack my bastion every turn. Otherwise, I could have like my scriptorum could get disabled because it caught fire to my fucking archive. So now I can't. Now my books are on fire, and I can't even lend those out for to the members of my paying members of my library. So you can see how all these different ideas can cascade down and have really intricate political intrigue where all the, like, you might have like 40 bastion points in your bastion, but like half of them are tied up with taxes from the settlement that you're in, shakedowns from criminal organizations, guild dues that you have to pay to this third party that's supposedly lobbying for your rights, as well as handing out bastion points to a security detail. So you keep taking these bastion point resources and having to expend them without getting any benefit, just to keep open without having your facility attacked. So you can see how like crony capitalism, or a tyrannical autocrat, or an overreaching guild can fatigue the resources of businesses and operations inside that settlement. Like, there's a lot of different, there really is no cap on the depth that you can take this idea of how do you organize a bastion, and since bastions are built with bastion points, how those bastion points could be expended to either create facilities, pay for lifestyles, be used to re-roll bad die rolls so that you get positive results instead of negative results. There's this huge cascade that flows out from that. So using facilities, the benefits that you get from each facility, downtime activities that you as characters can perform with various facilities, and the orders that you can issue to each facility is why you would want defines what facilities can do. And then we have, let's see, using facilities. Oh yeah, then we have the facility. So we have the facility descriptions. I'm still fighting over. Facilities, space, occupying. This should probably be occupying space. Occupying space. Hirelings would be next. Yeah, let's get downtime activity. Occupying space, how big the facilities are. Hirelings, how many people you need to operate inside that space. The orders that can be issued. Let's see. Maybe we want to do organizing. What is it? Properties of. There we go. Facility properties. That's probably the right way to do this. Facility properties, and then we have facility descriptions, and then we have using facilities, and this is how they get used, and then we have variant bastions, bastion turns, turn frequency, structuring a bastion campaign, bastion events and bastion complications. No, it's just complications. And bastion events. No, bastion events comes before complications. This is where Bastion maps belong, under occupying space. That makes sense. We're attempting to, we're organizing this right now. The whole document, you can click the link down below to take a look at the rough draft that we're working in right now to see how the bastions are organized. But right now we're just fleshing out the table of contents. And once we get the TOC figured out, like the hierarchy of organizing the information that's in the supplement, we can then pick each of these. And like we have facilities here, like we already have facilities defined. We have bastions, the bastion ranks. This is basically like how a bastion functions. And then we actually have the facilities. And you can see here we have occupying space, which is currently listed as size of facility. So we will retitle that. Facility properties. And then you can see each of the individual facilities here. So yeah, we're figuring it out. That's what we're in the process of doing right now. Facilities, facility properties, occupying space, the bastion map, hirelings, orders, bastion points, facilities, modifying checks. Let's see. Point value. Then we have expending bastion points, which would be facilities, modifying bastion checks, issuing additional orders, bastion checks, bastion dice, bastion checks, yeah, that sounds about right. And then bastion points, point value, expending bastion points on facilities, modifying bastion checks, issuing additional orders. Issuing orders, bastion dice, bastion checks. Okay, that feels right. Commanding a bastion, and then facilities within the bastion, and then variant bastions, bastion turns. Let's go with crafting items, crafting equipment, items and materials. Let's see. List of equipment, list of magical items, list of materials. Crafting equipment, magic items, and materials. That feels right. Creating new facilities. That's one of the sections. Variant bastions, bastion turns, turn frequency, structuring a bastion campaign, bastion events, complications. Bastion campaigns, finally. Get down to the title of the book, Bastion Campaigns. So Bastion Campaigns then is turn-based adventuring, risks and rewards. Turn-based adventuring that provide risks and rewards. Let's see, and then it's West March structure. That's not quite right. How about let's see, turn-based adventuring, risks and rewards. That's probably enough. Then we have the appendices, which are crafting equipment, magic items, materials. Yeah, that seems right. Like that. Okay, I think that's our organization. That's probably a pretty good crack at it. And we might have to reorganize it a little bit, but that's enough of a template for us to be able to start developing around. So we've got about 45 pages after which describing all the different orders, the different facilities, how to determine success and failure in tasks, the downtime activities that go along with it, specific benefits that you gain from the facilities that are passive, defining how downtime activities operate, defining how orders work, the different orders that can be issued, mixing and matching, creating new orders. That's probably something worth doing. Creating new orders. Creating new facilities. And then we have governing bastions and settlements, which is talking about franchises, and we already talked about settlements. And then we have armies, which is a separate type of bastion that's mobile. Size of your army, the kind of damage and hit points that a bastion army can take. Sieges and sabotage. Okay, this is all additional. Combat. Siege and sabotage. Sieges and sabotage. Let's see. And then Bastion events and complications. And then the appendix equipment. Equipment. breaking down all the bits. Magic items. Okay, that works. Let's go back up to our table of content. Creating new facilities. No, yeah, I guess that would be theme, benefits, activities, and orders. That's probably the best way of doing that for now. And variant Bastion, franchises, armies, and settlements. War. Hold on. Sieges and sabotage. Combat. Let's see. Casualties and damage. That's probably good. I think that's a decent structure to start with. Don't save. So that's our start. We're going to spend probably a couple weeks taking the rest of this document and reorganizing it into this this flow of information. So yeah, so that's going to be it for now. Yeah, it's 7:45. I'm going to go ahead and cut stream now. I've got some work I need to do off screen. It's going to be boring as hell to watch, so I'm not going to bother you with it. Like, this isn't peak entertainment as it is, but we're going to let this go for now. Normally, I'd be on stream at lunch tomorrow to continue work, but I actually have an appointment I have to attend to, so I shan't be available. I will be back tomorrow morning to continue working on Eberron art. I'll be back Wednesday and Thursday morning, Thursday night. We'll continue organizing this document, and then Friday lunch we'll also continue with this, and then on Saturday I'll be off screen, but if everything goes well, we'll be running the Mega Dungeon on my Discord server for the Martial Powers playtesting. So that's it for now. If you think this stuff is interesting, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. I've literally been doing this for years, so I don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon, God's willing. And we're just going to keep producing this stuff until it's all published. Once it does publish, like all the other books I have listed down below, they all have free preview. You're welcome to check out my ideas. We're going to add these things to those, and we're going to update all that stuff down below. We're going to update all that stuff for 2024. Once we get through the new content, we're going to update that older content. So that's it for now, guys. I'm going to check out. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me, guys. I'll see y'all soon. Cheers.